Why, it's Mr. Spock. Buried alive. Buried alive. More! 22!
Remember this well. There shall be no peace as long as Kirk lives.
Come on.
To fly apart.
Fire apart then.
I just have to say, watching Speaker during the intro is the highlight of my Friday morning. Because he's like...
That song gets me every time.
I wish you guys could see it. I tried because he was looking down, ladies and gentlemen, so he wasn't looking at the screen. I tried to solo layout him while the intro was going, hoping that it would just like overlay him over the intro video. That way you guys could see what I saw, but it didn't work. So I wish I could have done that. I wish that would have worked. Because Brian's just jamming, man. He's just like, yeah, headbanging, and like he's got the air guitar going.
I was like, you know, I was feeling that this morning. I needed that pick me up.
But greetings, one and all. Welcome to Mornings of Mischief. I am tired as shit after driving back from Dallas last night, but I am here. We had a great time. It was all kinds of shits and giggles. Had a wonderful time, kicking ass, taking names. Everybody was great. Getting to see everybody was great. We will talk more about that later. I can't share pictures. Someone was having like a monetization party last night, and Culture came over with the camera and was like, "Here, Loki, say hi." I'm like, "Oh my God, thanks, dude." I just, yeah, you know, skull. And I said, "Just fuck it, whatever." So there was a couple of times Jay was running around with his phone, just like, "Hey, what's up, man?" I'm like, "What's up, Jay? How's it going?" He's like, "Nothing, cruising for chicks, brah." Like, all right, Jay.
As in drunk 3PO?
Drunk, yeah, drunk. Look at these beautiful ladies.
I saw you a couple of times on another video.
Yeah, it
one
was
of the live ones. I think it was the one on what's her name? What's it? Krista's channel or whatever.
Yep, Krista.
I saw you and Harris.
No, it was Zach's show. That culture, yeah, it was Zach's celebration. So, yeah, I was just okay. He's like, here's the camera. Oh, let's go. Oh shit. Mark Davenport tired Loki is as elusive as a Sasquatch getting caught on camera. Wow.
God.
Milton, what am I thanking you for? There's no need to thank you. You're welcome. It's also my pleasure from me to be here. What? What are you talking about? Two who already missed greetings. Welcome to. What the hell are you talking about, Milton? He's crazy.
I get some of those on some of my chats and people get into a conversation. I'll be reading, and then I'm like, "Wait, what's that?" and it completely throws me, and I'm just like, "Okay, I'm missing something." Then somebody has to go back and explain what's going on in the chat to me. So,
well, good morning, everybody. It's great to be here. It's great to be back in Valhalla. Dallas was fun. It was great, but I want to talk about the Orville this morning. That's what we're here to talk about. I liked this episode. I don't think it was as good as the two before it, but it kind of reminded me of Twilight Zone and Outer Limits. And I grew up watching Twilight Zone and Outer Limits. I loved Outer Limits though when it was on Showtime or HBO, whatever it was on. I loved when that show came back. Especially that Scorpion episode, that first one. Where that guy has that mound of little alien scorpions and they take over and think he's a god. I fucking love that episode.
Was that the one with Beau Bridges?
Yes, that's the one with Beau Bridges.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
I never watched the new ones that much. I just love the original.
I liked those. I had a fun time. Sand Kings. Thank you, Man Squatch. Yes, Sand Kings. So,
and Night Gallery. I'm a Night Gallery girl.
Yeah.
I remember Night Gallery. That freaked the shit. Even now, I'm like,
scary show.
It is, but it's got all that kind of those elements to it. It still holds strong today.
And Adega's got a point. As far as originality goes, like something brand new, out of the box, no one's ever seen before. They haven't really done that. These have all been based on other stories.
I don't know. I think the first one, in spite of some things that were simply the Electric Sheep, had a lot of originality. There were things in there that hadn't been done, at least in the way that it was done. I thought that was different. The episode 2 and 3, though, yeah.
I kind of felt like Electric Sheep was based on Don't Dream of Electric Sheep.
I didn't think they weren't. I didn't say they weren't some familiarity to some other stuff, but I think there was a pretty original take, all said and done about that one. But in terms of just what little originality there ever is with this show, because a lot of it is based on different things, but it always takes a source and then puts a little bit of a different spin on it to make it its own. Usually they're good at that. In that first episode, I think it was that. I mean, it's the first 2 seasons and that opener of this season. However, in season 2 and episode 2 and 3, perhaps not as much.
Okay, are we like diving full frontal into this, or are we easing into this? Because
the episode or the Orville itself?
The episode specifically.
Okay, I think we're easing into the episode. I know we belly splashed into fucking the Orville as a series. One of those painful belly flashes, but it's like fun too. It's like, yeah, you had a great fucking time on the way down, and then you hit, and you were like, fuck, it hurt.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry, y'all. When I saw the high school, I cringed. I went, oh shit, is this where we're going? I did. It's like this episode, it got 3 responses from me. the beginning to sort of kind of the middle, I'm like, I'm so bored. I was so bored. And then when they got back on the ship, so to speak, I was like, oh, okay. This is picking up. Let's rock it. And in the end, I was like, what? Q?
Did any of you see that coming at the very beginning of the episode? Because when they said that that planet was barren and suddenly there was an entire population on like 24th century, I immediately went, didn't they do this already with an episode where like everyone was aging super fast or they were evolving quickly because of some time thing? And I immediately thought back to that season 1 episode. So that was on my mind originally, and then I was like, oh, it's their Twilight Zone episode. Okay. It's their
I thought we were going to what my feelings on when it got started was I thought we were going to see what was left of the Kalon civilization that had escaped, the human Kalon civilization. That's what my hope was, is that they were in hiding.
That would have been interesting.
Because, you know, the Kalon were mentioned in the episode, that there had been this communication, you know, happening in that sector, and they'd gone to, you know, and then that started happening. So I was thinking, oh, are we going to see the progenitors of the Kalon? I was like, yes. And then I was just like, when I saw the high school, I'm like, no. I'm like, nope, that's not happening. I don't know what's going on now. So
the high school, I don't know why. And whenever you stick, you know, a modern, or our modern, I should say, a current high school and anything like that, I don't know. I die a little inside. I don't know why I do. It's just, oh God, we got to go here.
It's been done to death.
It kind of went on a bit too. The high school,
that went on the longer.
Although I will say, until they got to Randall, that I enjoyed that.
I admit, Randall, that threw me for a twist. I'm like, oh, okay, that's new. I didn't do that in high school.
MB Geek Let's Talk with $5 super chat says, done with Strange New Worlds. Enough about Spock's sex life. I will take Orville. 1 hour of gold. The question about immortality and is death a bad thing or a natural thing? I agree with you. That first episode of the Orville was absolutely balls to the walls excellent. Not what I was expecting at all. Thank you, MB Geek, for that $5 super chat, brother.
Well, Strange Nude Worms is trash anyway. So absolutely stick with something good.
Bill McCracken, I don't know. I don't know if you just pissed off a demigod out there or what, but I don't know how you keep getting here. And thank you for smashing the like. And when is Arwen going to release her cat calendar collection? Oh, that would be cool. You can take like pictures of the kittens.
I could.
And do a calendar. Also, I'm sexier than Pat Steven. Fact.
Well, okay. He'll call you on that. He always does.
No one ever thought to point at Bortus and say, doesn't he look strange? Yeah. They didn't. I mean, you've got a team of futuristic explorers walking around your high school. They all look strange.
Anyway, so. They were doing what they were being, they were just, I don't think it was, it's not like they were real high school kids.
No. But what's his name? Got his ass beat like he was a real high school kid.
He did.
Yes, he did.
I haven't seen anybody get floated like that in a toilet in a long time.
That had to be a fun scene to get to do.
I guess some of that
today
that was taken from their minds was taken from. I mean, the fact that they watch a lot of 21st century and 20th century movies. I guess. I don't know. Again, it was the high school was a little bit out of place.
Adega, nice to see us swirly.
Been a long time.
It's a lost art. It's a lost art now, Adega.
Can't get away with that shit anymore. You go to jail.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do not pass go. Do not collect $500.
Back when teepeeing and doing stuff like that was that was the most trouble I ever got in as a kid, was teepeeing people's houses. I don't even know if people know what that is anymore. So
you had to have a good throwing arm.
Yeah.
You had to have a good throwing arm.
Way up there in them trees. That way.
That's what I always did. I had to do I only TP'd once in my life. I'm such a rebel. I think I was like 12. and a group of us went out, but I had to do the bushes because I had a shit throwing arm. So I'm sitting up there, I'm doing the bushes, and everyone else is like, chill. Oh, well. But they look pretty.
Has anybody noticed, though, with this season, they really have gone full Star Trek?
Yes.
Like the funny, over the top, stuff like that. Like so far is gone. Like I'm not seeing hardly any of that.
I'd say it's faint. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm just like, and I'm not. I don't know. I'm not. When I first started watching the Orville, I thought it was a little over the top, and now I'm like missing it. So I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know. I'm like, they need to add just a little bit more of it back in. But I mean, at the same time, I'm kind of okay with what they're doing. I'm just like, at least I'm getting Star Trek again.
Yeah, it's still a little bit there though. It's just much more toned down.
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of funny with the way Bortus insulted the stupid mean girls at the table. We'll take it by force if necessary. I mean, Bortus is still funny by accident. He can't. Bortus almost can't speak without making me laugh. He never could though. He's just always. I mean, he's hilarious.
He's my favorite character.
I love him.
I thought about that last night because I was thinking about the levity aspect of it, and I'm like, well, it's Orville New Horizons. It's New Horizons.
Yeah.
So it is definitely distinguishing itself from Orville 1 and 2.
Some of that tone is still there. Again, like I said, it's just not quite as broad. Yeah, yeah.
And you talking about having Bortus be your favorite character, I was under the impression we were all ists, obes, and Yahtzees that can't handle a male-male relationship. And that's exactly what Bortus has with Clyden. He's my favorite character. A lot of people absolutely love him. I loved Alara the first season. I thought Alara was just, hey, Alara, open this jar of pickles for me. It's like, yes, fucking beat the door down. I love the dynamic. A lot of people didn't like her and wanted oh my God, she's nobody. She had no character.
I loved her, but
I
loved
too.
her.
I actually like Tala better, though. I got to admit, I can't believe it, but I'm really loving her.
She's more confident. She's a badass.
Yeah,
it's
I just love her.
It's like you remember Heroes, right? Remember
Unfortunately, yeah.
Okay, cheerleader girl, right? It's like her versus a fucking biker chick. You've got the cheerleader, which is
and the cheerleader wasn't, but yeah.
Yeah. Alara was more like, oh my God, totally cool. And then you've got Tala, who's more like, bitch, I will beat you with a fucking rubber hose.
Pro.
Yes.
I'm trying to warm with her, but to me, she's too much like Kelly. I mean,
they're different enough. But you didn't want her to be exactly like Alara either, though. So.
No, I didn't want her to be exactly like Alara. I don't know. I can't. I like her, but there's something about her. There's a coldness to the character, and I can't get past that. And I don't know why. She's not a cold actress. She's not cold on screen. Yeah. Maybe it's her damn hair. Maybe I'm like, why'd y'all scrimp on doing the ear, doing the other ear and the other little, come on now, costume department. Just annoys the crap out of me.
It's like what they did to Dumbledore in the last 4 films of like, he wore the same purple robes like the last 6 films. I'm just like, does he not have other clothes? What the hell is going on?
Wardrobe given the program.
I don't know. I love her because not only did they manage to, even though she's from the same world, differentiate her character and from Alara, whom I did love. I don't know. There's something about this show, unlike in other words, this character, like on the Strangled Dude Worms, the idiot female version of that security officer on that show, they can't just make them a character that is still feminine, even though she's tough and character, they have to take all of her femininity away from her. But on this show, Tala, tough, all that, but she still manages to be, incredibly feminine, beautiful.
I agree with
relatable character.
And doesn't have the side of her head shaved.
No.
She's
very feminine.
I have to see that one more time in a female. I'm just like, what is the obsession with the lesbian hairdo? I just like, what?
Yeah,
It's
the
all- yeah,
women
so
are
bad.
feminine. The women are. You look at them and you
It's
identify
beautiful
them
still.
as women.
Right.
I totally agree with that.
And yet that great scene last week when she has the big fight and it's just so cool. You go in there and when you go in there with the monster, you go. Anybody else should be scared. You know, like a normal person going into that situation, you're going, oh, she's gonna kick these. I mean, she's gonna kick some ass right here. And
Yeah.
that's something you don't usually, with every
Or-
character.
It's the
spits
getaway.
at her.
It's the get away from her bitch moment. That's the Ripley getaway. You're like, yeah, go and get her, girl.
But the
You know, she comes
superpowers
out in
make
the
her fun,
she comes out in the damn power loader and is just like, yeah. And it's watching Tala walk into that room was the exact same way. Go get him, girl.
Yeah.
But we're all Ubs and Yahtzees, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
We're all in our nerd caves, living in our nerd caves. And we're all ifs. We're all
Don't
part
forget
of the
incels.
patriarchy, incel patriarchy.
There you go.
We can't handle strong, independent women.
No.
You know, which is strange because I'm married and I have 6 children and 5 of them are girls. So, I mean,
God help you, sir. God help you. Yeah.
I mean,
Oh my god.
I mean, and I've raised very strong, independent girls and stuff. I mean, but it's like, but they're still girls. Like they know, I mean, they learned how to be that from their mom. They learned how to be obnoxious from me. And I mean, so I don't know. I just don't understand these people that are, you hate women. It's just like, I brought 5 of them into the world. I'm like, I don't, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stephen
No.
Ransom says it is not a Les hairdo. They/it stole that haircut from the punks of the 80s. And Stephen looks really upset about that.
No, the punk hair was all in one wedge going down, like the guy, the Star Trek guy, on
Liberty
the punk
Spikes.
rocker, that's banging his head on the bus in Star Trek 4.
Yeah, the like the horrible helmsman on Strangled Dude Worms. Ugh, can't look at her.
Copy, every time you say that, you change the words a little bit.
I can't help it. I hate that.
Strangled.
So many people buying into that shit show.
But oh my God, Clobby, it's not as bad. It's not as bad as disco. It's not as bad as disco. As long as it's not as bad as disco, everything will be all right.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be.
Give me some good disco
in
anytime
fairness.
over that.
Yeah, I mean, could anything be as bad as STD or P hard? But it's still just as bad to me. So it's trash.
But it's not as bad.
Filth.
That should be, we should be clapping and praising it and saying, oh my God, they've learned their lesson. It's still a giant pile of shit, but it's a shiny, not bad, smelly piece of shit.
They have worked hard
Anything-
to polish that turd, and it just
anything that-
wow.
Takes a dump all over a mock time and an arena is a piece of crap in my book. So
Yeah, just because you add sugar to shit doesn't make it a brownie, y'all. It's
Oh my
sugar
God,
and
yes.
shit. Come
absolutely, man.
You can
Watch
put
the-
kittens in the oven, but that don't make them biscuits. I love those kind of, I love those old kind of southernish type sayings. And we need Dave Bob in here so he could say it in the right.
Where's Dave Bob?
Dave Bob is driving back from Dallas.
Oh, he
this
was in
morning.
Dallas.
We miss you, Dave Bob. You got to come back.
Yeah.
Miss you, brother.
Man, so you didn't stay for the con for the weekend or anything?
No. I just drove down. We hung out at the meetup, talked to everybody, hung out.
That's cool.
and yeah, I had a good time. It was a good
So-
time.
Saw one of the videos and did some live streaming on it. Then I saw you there, so saw a bunch of people there.
Ruben Christopher Haynes. Arwen is awesome. Yeah, that's why
Well,
she's on the panel.
I've heard that about her.
Oh,
I've heard that about her. You
See,
are.
I'm
awesome.
missing seeing
thank
Yaphet.
y'all so much.
I want more.
Oh,
Yes.
I think we'll get more
Yes.
Yaphet.
Because
I think
this
it's
is the
gonna be a little
last
bit more.
season we're going to get him. And I'm just like, I'm
Right.
like, come on, where is he?
I think he's going to be again. There are going to be a few more, maybe.
I hope to see him a little bit
7
more,
more
but
episodes
he's
to
always
go.
been my favorite.
They've got
I love
to
it.
they've got to do a thing where he either saves the ship or goes into Isaac and saves Isaac or something self-sacrificing. I completely
Yeah.
am right there.
That's
no,
funny. I
this-
was thinking about that last night when I was watching it. I was thinking, I miss the outfit on here, and I wonder if they're gonna in some way tie him back in, or just not
Yeah, I
ever
think
show
they
him
might.
again. You know,
He didn't pop up. It wasn't in every single episode before, but he was in a lot of them. So I'm thinking he's not done yet. They got it
When
all
him and
done.
Claire got it on, that was just funny to me because
Oh
the
my
reaction
God.
was it Kelly that I can't remember who walks in on him, and they're all just like, oh.
Wasn't it Ty? It was Alara?
Maybe it was Alara. Yeah, that.
Yeah,
That is from Steven Ransom.
Oh.
He drew that in 88. Got a little 88 there. And there's your side shaved
Yeah.
haircut.
Yeah.
See, but they've taken it and they've made it like and that's the thing. I'm not trying to be offensive when I say it's a lesbian hairdo. It bothers me because they've taken so many things and ruined them now. Because they've made it a caricature. Every time you see that haircut, you know it's going to be a strong female man, and it's just
annoying. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just like, and so see, that's when I was watching this episode last night. I find that I'm like hypersensitive now. Like I'm just looking for things, and it's like,
oh yeah,
and I'm like, wait, when did I become that guy? But it's like it's so prevalent that I'm just looking for it all the time, and it makes it really hard to just sit back and enjoy I mean, and I don't want to be that way, but they've actually made me that way.
Well, dude, that's also part of your being a reviewer, being talking about all this. There was a commercial that came out right before Top Gun came out, and it said in that fucking commercial, it said invert your expectations, and I was like, oh my God, they're gonna fuck it up. They're gonna fuck it all up because it was like invert your expectations. I was like, no,
Yeah.
Damn you, Ryan Johnson.
Maverick, you're a man, and a woman is the only true pilot, you know? And I could just see it fucking happening. You can't fly the best, blah, 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 blah. Only a female. And I was like, God, no, please, fucking no, don't do it. Tom, what did you do?
They didn't. Boy,
And they didn't.
Movie.
They didn't. But let's get back to Orville. So they have this high school scene. And I didn't know what I was like. I was like, please, no. I've watched enough fucking Buffy the Vampire Slayer in my life that I don't want to see.
Yes. Cringe. I was cringing. Yes.
I don't want to see. I don't want to spend the whole fucking thing in a high school.
Because it was an illusion, but like I get it. I just thought I wasn't feeling it that much either with that point.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be over. Like I said, I did like the end of it though with Randall. I thought that was a funny scene, and that kind of kicked the episode into at least a bit of a higher gear.
And I didn't expect that. I didn't. Oh, it's a giant walking shark monster.
Yeah.
Did you guys notice the change in the music this week? Though my brother pointed it out to me. If you go back and watch this, it sounds like a cross between Indiana Jones and Star Wars.
Yes.
The
yes.
music changed this week. I'm like, wow. But I mean, especially when Randall shows up, it gets that dun 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 dun. Dun. You know that you know.
I gotta watch it again, I guess.
Yeah, I was. I don't know if I'd have caught it, but my brother said something. I'm like, holy shit, he's right. This sounds like something right out of Raiders of the Lost Ark. And I mean, it was and it was fun. It was fun to hear that kind of.
Yeah, definitely. And the music is top notch. At one point where the ship is it's not docking, but it's going into that thingamajiggy. Just the music just started swelling and I was like, oh my God, this is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, production values are still just unbelievable.
Yes,
incredible on this season. I mean, it's always been good, but
I once they got past that, after the Randall scene, and once they got past that, I was like, okay, this is weird. And then they did it again, and I was like, it's Twilight Zone. It's Outer Limits. I actually said Outer Limits first. I was like, holy shit, it's Outer Limits. Yeah. And I was like, Twilight Zone. It's got that Twilight Zone Outer Limits feel to it.
Especially in the high school, the music went dark. I'm like, all right, something horrible's about to happen.
Yeah.
And yes, Stephen Ransom. Sorry, I totally agree. So he was making a comment about me being a sensitive little girl. Hey, I have so much estrogen in my house. I've developed a set of moobs. So I mean,
oh my God,
you poor man.
Sorry.
No, I've been there. I've been there. 7 women in the house at one point. So 2 of mine, 4 of hers, and of course her. Yeah, it was just me and the dog, ladies and gentlemen. The only male friend I had in the house.
And they want to neuter him when
was
you're
a
not
dog.
around.
Yeah, they want to snip his twig and berries when I'm not around. I'm like no. What are they gonna do to me next? Shit.
Yeah.
As the representing female, I'm so sorry for y'all. No. I know what it's like to be one. No, I'm sorry.
God, you can imagine what car rides were like. She's touching me. She's touching me. I'll touch you in a minute. Pull over and beat the shit out of both of you.
You can't talk that way to them. They're girls.
Shut up, devil woman.
Get thee hence, Satan. But no, I don't know. There was a lot I liked about this episode, but I wish they would have done it more in the Orville setting. The nightmare scenarios. I wish they would have done that in the future instead of going back to an airplane, and then to a high school. And I'm just like, what? Until they got to where the hanging pods for the
Mocklins.
Oh,
I was like, okay, now we're getting to I'm like, why would they even be they wouldn't really be scared of airplane rides?
The airplane scene didn't do it for me either.
Yeah, I'm like, what? Why? I'm like, that would not be a fear for them. I mean, it would be a fear for them in the moment, but they wouldn't have that. I have angst about 20th century air flight.
I have a feeling that they asked. They were like, okay, story group time. What are you afraid of? What is the worst thing oh my God, I'm afraid of air travel. Oh my God, I'm afraid one day I'll wake up. What's your worst fear? That I'm back in fucking high school. I'm right there with you. I never want that. I don't see how people would ever want that. But yeah, cut that. No, we're not going back to fucking high school. Waking up in a morgue, surrounded by dead people. I really get that feeling that that's kind of what they did. Like, what's the worst thing you could just wake up and happen? Waking up back in high school. Yeah, fuck that.
And yeah, Chris Persia, I was waiting for that. I was waiting for somebody to turn and there to be, a beast or something on the wing of the plane. And when they didn't do that, I was like, oh, okay, good. They went to something else. But I would thought that's what they were going to do. I'm like, they're going to the trope and stuff, but they didn't. And how she just rips when Kelly punches the stewardess, that was the best moment.
Oh my God. I was like, I wish you had done that a minute ago. Yes. I was like, bitch.
You have to sit down. You have to sit because everybody I think has wanted to do that to a flight
I'm like,
attendant.
just put a sock in it.
The last plane I was on, I had to fly back coach. I went out first class, had to fly back coach. The flight out first class was absolutely excellent. They were like, sir, do you need anything? Here's some crackers. Here's some peanuts. Here's some drink. Here's this, that, Here, you want headphones? Here, headphones. The way back, every time I pulled my damn mask down to get a drink, that fucking stewardess was right there. It was like she knew. She was like, sir, can you please put your mask back up? This is a plane after all. I'm like, oh my God, woman. Leave me the fuck alone. Everyone's had that stewardess where you're just like, bitch, I will. I'm
going to open the door and push you out.
I even said that once. I was like, I just was getting a drink. Well, that's all right, sir. But as soon as that straw leaves your lips, you need to have that mask back up. Too sweet. Bitch.
No.
Like everyone's wanted to take out a stewardess at one point in time.
I mean, that just made me laugh. It's like, are you kidding? There are no pilots in here, but you have to sit down. You just, the reality is just not. I'm like, oh, okay, somebody punched you in the face, and Kelly did.
Ruben Christopher Haynes' advice: always fly first class. Well, I couldn't because I had to rearrange my flight. So
yeah, this episode in some ways was a little bit of a slog for me. You only have 10 this year. I don't really. It was just. I get it. As soon as I saw the high school, I was like, Okay, here we go. This is going
I
to be
know.
one of these
Chloe,
illusion
did you not
episodes.
die a little inside when
Yeah.
you saw that high school? I did. I was like, ugh.
Now we're in for the next like 30 minutes. It's going to be everything's going to be weird for weird's sake, and we're going to be. I mean, it was fun. There were a lot of fun bits in it for sure. But I like these characters so much. It wasn't too terrible of a chore. But yeah, I saw the high school. I'm like, okay, I'm skeptical that this. In other words, we're not. It's going to be another one of those. You can tell right there. You're not going to know what happens to the very end, and they're going to be jerking you around for the rest of the episode. It's not going to be just a standard, straightforward story. It's going to be some kind of big mystery. They're going to and the whole time while I'm watching this, while it's fun to watch and some things, I'm going, okay, this better be a really good payoff at the end because I'm, you can stretch things all you want and make them silly and stuff, and that's fine. But you're really gonna, sure. There's an element to Shore Leave, Larry. Also, Spectre of the Gun, and some other things from Trek themes for sure. The whole time I'm watching this thing in the back of my mind going, whatever's doing this, this better be good. This better be good. This better be something that wows me like with a Twilight Zone punch to the end. Mm-hmm. And it just.
See, I agree with Nash.
Kind of fell flat for me a little bit.
It felt themed from many of the old TV shows like The Martian Chronicles.
Yeah, the Royals.
Doctor, and Moons of Madness. Boy, he's making some good comments today. So I saw the high school and the Royale from TNG. Mm-hmm. I had the same thought.
This was way better executed than that, but yeah.
I thought I was asking myself, I was like, is that the high school in Greece? It's the first thing I thought of when I saw the high school. I was like, is that the high school in Greece?
Might have been named after. And again, we've never really heard anything about Gordon being bullied at high school. I guess it's possible but is it in the 25th century? Different. I mean, why is it the same as it is in the 20th and 21st?
Yeah, I would hope so. I hope we've evolved.
See, that would have been cool if they had done his high school, if that was like his sphere, if they had done his high school.
Yeah, it was 21st century.
Plane,
yeah.
If the plane had been
the plane, boss, the plane.
Whatever, their ship. Yeah. If everything had been, because, Bortus's was kind of tailored to him. That was a Michael Moore.
Those other two were out of place.
These people are like Q. This is pretty much your Q in this universe. So why couldn't she have immediately, and for anybody out there going, we don't know it's a she, shut the fuck up. It was played by a woman actress.
Thank you. It was, she had boobs.
Sorry. She had boobs. So
if she's like Q, she would know what their greatest fear is and would use that to scare the shit out of them, right? And then make them think they're going to die.
I guess she took movies out of their head instead of real life experiences.
Because like the squid thing, I mean, that's fucking terrifying. If you've ever like had a nightmare about that, that's a fucking terrifying ass nightmare to think you're going to be eaten by a fucking underwater giant squid. And that mouth.
That one did fit Kraken. Yeah, that was the one that made the most sense.
Yeah.
So I don't get the plane thing. You're nervous.
Oh, well, it's about seeing your own death, Loki.
Well, I wouldn't be scared of the fucking plane. The morgue thing, if a motherfucking zombie person opened their fucking eyes and tried to like squeeze the life out of me, sure, that'd be scary. But the morgue in itself, no.
Yeah.
But then again, Pete, like I really think they just got together and were like, what do you think scary? What do you think scary? I think being pulled underwater and almost eaten by a giant fucking squid, that scared the shit out of you. Yeah, I agree with that. But the high school, waking back up in high school, you're not getting the point. I'm talking like Freddy Krueger level shit. You forgot the power glove. Shit like that.
Yeah. I wanted to see it more set forward into their time. Like it would have even been cool to, had they done that instead of doing an airplane, doing one of the old, like doing an old sleeper style ship for early deep space travel. And not being able to get out of the pods or something and slowly suffocate. I mean, there's just so many ways they could have gone with that in a more futuristic setting that I think would have meant more to the crew. I'm just like, and so I don't know that. Yeah, it just kind of pulled me out. But I mean, was it terrible? It just wasn't great either.
No, it still manages to be entertaining because I think it's just because we like this cast so much. we'll cut them a lot of slack because the show's been so good so far.
Mm-hmm.
This really was just, I don't know if we want to call it filler or anything, but it was a bit pretentious when they were going with their little Twilight Zone theme. And again, you knew it they were trying to also introduce this new Q type character that we will probably see again. But yeah, I hope they go back into a better direction next week. I gotta admit. I mean, it was all right.
Although
Nash-
I gotta say, her outfit gave me the damn vapors. I just loved it.
Tron.
That sparkly, glittery.
Yep.
I was like, oh my god, I love her. I love her. Just love the visual of it. I did.
But I hated the writing for her, like the
she
way
was
she talked. I'm just
glib.
like, yeah, it's like she came out of some 21st century high school.
Yeah, I did not like
oh,
that either.
now Kelly, we know that you did this, and we're all. And I'm just like, what? What did she just say? See, I remember that, and I can't remember the name of the episode, but there's an episode in Star Trek Next Gen where they go on this. It's a Captain Picard kind of centered episode where they're going from world to world, and they find the progenitor species. I don't know if you guys know the one I'm talking. But I was just like, I was waiting for. When they brought her out, I was thinking that's the kind of character
the
she's
chase.
going to be.
That was called.
Yeah, and it was a fantastic episode, and I'm like, she was so glib and so. I'm like, okay, you've lost all of that sense of those people seemed more advanced the last time we saw them at the end of the episode of season 1. I'm like, she seemed childish in comparison. And I'm like, what? You went ahead 50,000 years, but you ended up a high schooler from California. What?
Yeah.
I think they were going for a cool arrogance that is born out of a natural superiority.
Yeah.
But it did come across as like, oh my God, you're so beneath me. Oh, God, give me the spoon.
Oh my God, Kelly. So you haven't totally figured it out yet?
Right. Oh, I'm so much prettier and so much better and so much bigger than you.
If they were going for Q, they missed because what made Q so much fun was his capacity for loving to mess with Picard. His antagonism. Part of the entertainment was stick in the mud Picard being messed with by Q. That's what it was. And John Delancey is so terrific in doing that. He's the Mitch Espitalik of Star Trek. This omnipotent being that was basically mischievous. And again, it's just so much fun watching the old stick in the mud get grumpy with Q and stuff. It was fun watching him pick on Picard.
And she just didn't have that.
This doesn't have that. It's
No.
not like that.
Well, also, you bring up the way she talked, her mannerisms, the way she said things. One thing that Adega really helped me out with, because Loki has been writing. Yes, Loki is working on a novel. One day, maybe it'll be out there in the ether.
Nice.
It's all naval space combat shit. So it's going to be explosions and death and monsters and all kinds of cool shit.
Nice.
With a lot of science buried behind it and naval tactics. But one of the things Adega kind of nudged me forward with was don't use any slang. That is there today because this is going to be 500 years in the future. Don't use any slang and make your own slang.
Yep.
So come up with words. And one of the things that Battlestar Galactica did very, very well was they had their own slang. They had their own curse words. They had their own slang. They had their own way of saying things. And it does not bury that in the now. It gives it its own thing. And that's
this won't age well. That's the problem. Yeah. This will be dated by the way she was talking. And
that was really bad. I couldn't stand her. She's a cute lady, cute girl, but
amazing thing what they were trying to do. But I'm just like, oh, who proved the final writing for her the way she's talking? I'm like, nope, not gonna.
And that sucked because the concepts of what she was saying were really good.
Yeah, it was.
They made me think, and I'm like, think of an immortal being trying to really understand the concept of death, but just don't Valley Girl it up a little bit. Just keep
Mr. Tickle Trunk makes a really good point. He said Q also tested humanity. The future people in the Orville just wanted to record feelings to take home and fondle because they forgot what fear was.
yeah, absolutely. That's
Imagine if she goes back with that and she's like, "No, you want to hit a fear? It's you got to give me this if you want to hit a fear."
You guys are just
Doling it
lucky.
out like a drug.
You guys are just lucky that you weren't on the show last night when Raquel's. I mean, I had to like this episode a little bit more until she got through ripping it to shreds. And she loves this show very much. She loves every episode of the first 2 seasons. She liked the first 2. She hates. This is the worst episode of all. She hated this episode, and she tore it. Of course, she's an academic, so she goes for the scholarly, bits that a lot of us don't think of. And she thought it to be quote unquote hyper didactic, which means, they had a lot of agenda crap in here that she did not like in terms of wokeness. Now it was subtle, but she actually saw a lot of that stuff and pointed out that I didn't see when I viewed it. She thought there was some anti-men stuff in here that she hated. And again, I'm just I was a little bit kinder to the episode until she brought my rating down before we rated it. I'm like, wow. And she was all apologizing. I know everyone loves it. Please don't hate me, but I hated it. And I'm like, wow, I didn't really hate it. But man, she sure made me think about things that I didn't realize on the viewing. And it's not. Really brought it down bad?
Can you like the format of an episode without actually liking an episode? Because I thought the format of this, like I said in the beginning, was very Twilight Zone-esque. It was very Outer Limits. I love those kind of shows. So to get that kind of, they're going Outer Limits or Twilight Zone with it, I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
I do not like a lot of the stuff they did in the episode, though.
No, I mean, again, it's still kind of, you like these people enough. This show has what we call, it has goodwill to spend. In other words, it has goodwill currency to where they've not been one in those first 2 seasons that I thought was horrible at all. Some were better, there may be a couple that were a little bit less than great that I still thought were very good. And of course, we only had 2 episodes before this season. I really loved the first one. Second one, I wasn't that big on, but I thought it was okay and interesting, and a lot of people liked it. It has the currency to spend to have an episode that doesn't hit on all cylinders, and that's why you might watch it and have issues with it. But you're not in a bad mood, or you're not like, "Damn it, I hate this." I didn't have that reaction to it. I just still wasn't. I like these people so much that I'm willing to give them a lot of rope, and then you get to the end, and then it's not even like Q who's testing us or doing things. These people were just being cruel. These beings, they're lesser beings using. More powerful beings using quote unquote lesser beings. And Mercer pointed that out to her. It didn't take us 50,000 years to realize that's wrong, and so it kind of left a bad taste in my mouth what these beings were doing. At the same time, what she was saying is true. There were some subtle jabs at certain things. For example, I'm not a religious person, and neither is she, but you can tell McFarlane has a real contempt for Christianity and religious people, and he shows it a lot on this series. And Roddenberry didn't think that way. Roddenberry didn't like to insult people like that. And I loved McFarlane. I love this show, but so I'm willing to give it a lot of latitude. In this episode, I didn't hate it. I still found it enjoyable. But she pointed out a lot of things. This show, the writing's not going in the right direction if it stays in this direction. So I hope it doesn't.
Yeah, when she went on her little diatribe about these things you surround yourself with, Captain, this, that, male, and I'm just
male. She threw men in there, man.
I'm like, what? Yeah, I did a huge eye roll right at that moment. I was like, oh, yeah. I'm like, it was just sad. I'm just like, really? Do we have to get that in there that, we're all just fluid and we're all just I'm just like, yeah, well, I'll always be a guy. I even if I become some, glowing pile of vapor, I'm still going to be a guy. That's just, I'm sorry. Whatever.
Yep. It was a little bit. They were way more subtle than most modern Hollywood was.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, Raquel, it really got her the most. She really, really was angry about it. And she made me see someone. I'm like, yeah, I got it. Look, when I miss something, but someone brings it up, I do have to consider it. Go, I didn't really think about that way, but that happens to me sometimes, and usually with her it happens a lot. Which, you know, and yeah, it does. It did bring the episode down a little bit for me, which is okay. I thought it was really had problems going in anyway. You know, when it was over, I was thinking an episode shouldn't leave me this queasy. You know, what am I missing? Why do I have so much problem with this one? But I didn't hate it either. I just thought it was
my favorite moment was in the last scene when they're sitting around the table talking. I would, you know, and stuff, and going about, you know, talking about death and talking about, you know, our perceptions and stuff. I was like, why couldn't we have got a lot more of that, but just in action form throughout the, you know what I mean? I felt like that was where the real meat of the episode was, in that just that really short, contained little scene at the end. I'm like, I would have liked to have seen them really delve deeper into that, you know.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like that was the meat and potatoes of this episode, and you guys gave it what, 2 minutes at the end of the episode. I'm like, most of the episode nobody knew what the hell was going on, and then you get to the end and you're like, oh well, there it is. It's like, but I'm like, no, you should have had that kind of
took us a while to get there.
Yeah, because then you could have gone deeper into that through the rest of the episode. But so I don't know. That's just you know, I'm sure that's just the way they decided to do it. But because that's the part that got really interesting to me, especially when Mercer's like, you know, yeah, I want to be immortal. I mean, who hasn't had that thought in their life?
To see what happens.
To see what happens. I want to see this to the, you know, and I'm just like, there it is. there's the moment for this episode. And I'm like, too bad it's at the end. So
I mean, interesting. But do you want to see? Yeah.
Do you want to see everybody die that you know? Do you want to watch everybody you know and you care about die?
Well, that's what I mean. That's what they could have talked about through this whole. I mean, they could have really got into the, you know. And I'm like, where was that? I mean, because those are the big questions, and it would be hard. But I mean, yeah. Sorry.
No, I hear you. Look, hey, there were issues like that.
Yeah,
they should have dealt with better.
You were going to say something, Arwen. I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's all right. Yeah, because I gotta go here in a second anyway to get Darius to work. But
and give us your rating too.
Okay, interesting concept, not necessarily original. Execution, meh. Because like I said, for half of it, I was pretty bored. I really was. And then, you know, once the Kalon kind of got involved, I was like, well, so to speak. I was like, all right, we're picking up a little bit and yada yada. But I would give this one honestly a 5, y'all. I was
Raquel did the same thing. She did not like it.
Yeah, when I'm bored for almost half an episode with characters I love and with a show I love, but I just don't find myself invested until halfway through, then I'm like, you know. So
a little bit of a misfire.
Yeah, I give it a 5. But I'm looking forward to next week. I'm like, let's see what else y'all got. But 5 for me. So
I mean, we're still on track. The show. I mean, I'm still excited about the show.
Yeah.
PJ, you just blew PJ's socks off. He's like, what? Really?
I'm sorry, PJ.
PJ, you should hear.
No.
Yeah, PJ, you should hear what Raquel said last night. It would blow you away. We were all like, "Oh my God, she hates this." She thought it was the worst episode ever of the show. She hated it, man. So that's the same rating she gave it.
I did love the Immortals. What's her name? Denal. I did love her costume at the end. I was like, oh
like
shit, pastels and glitter, and she just looks so pretty. I did love that. I was totally girl geeking out over that. But anyway, I'm sorry, y'all. I gotta go. I gotta take him to work. But
Arwen, thank you so much for being here, guys. If you haven't subscribed to Arwen Avalon's channel, guys, please do it. Do it now. Do it now.
Do it now.
She's here. Get her. She's here. Subscribe now. Put the cookie down. Put the cookie down and subscribe.
Put the cookie down and grab some wine, y'all. It's Friday night. Let's do this. All right. I'll talk to y'all later. Mwah. Bye,
Take
y'all.
care, Arwen.
Yeah, all right. See you, Arwen.
I think
which one of you gentlemen want to go next?
Go for it, speaker.
I give it a 6. I didn't hate it. There was it was a little slow, but I mean, I just felt like kind of what Arwen said. You know, it just they kind of stumbled on the execution of a really great idea. But I kept throughout the whole episode, I kept just recalling other episodes from other science fiction, and I'm like, so it got me. It kept pulling me out of the entertainment aspect, because I was just like, it was so kind of overt, and then it'd pull away, and then it was kind of overt again, and I'm just like, okay, I'm not sure what you're doing here now. It just so, but I mean, I don't know. There were some really great aspects. Like I think I'm just gonna clip Kelly punching the stewardess in the face when I'm feeling bad, and just like, watch that on my phone, because that was just a great moment, because her reaction was just so fantastic. So there were some really great moments in this, but it just it kind of stuttered, and yeah.
I'm going to go with a 7. I mean, I think it still had a lot of entertaining bits in it, and it was still, these people I love these people so much, and right now still love the show so much that you're going to have to go really, really get on my nerves to make me, drop the rating lower. But it still had a lot of faults. And again, like I said, I had a little bit of a higher rating till Raquel went off on it. She has words. She cannot stand the term woke, for example. So she uses words like hegemony and hyperdidacticism and all these terms, where she's basically calling this episode woke crap, with a lot of really anti, themes in it, like anti-Christian themes and anti-religious people themes and a lot of other stuff, and anti-male stuff that she pointed out, a lot of stuff that's in there. Well, you got to give them credit. It's not blatant. It's very subtle. But on the whole, it's fairly entertaining once it finally gets out of the damn high school. Although I still find it curious, the things that she used to basically, let's face it, experiment on them, i.e. torture them, which was also a little disturbing. On the whole, it's a relatively entertaining episode. It's just not, I don't know. I guess I'm giving it a 7 because based on the goodwill I have for the show. Maybe it's less than that.
Yeah, Mr. Tickle Trunk, I think he gets it.
Yeah, he did not like
it. Says it really well.
Right.
I'm gonna give this a 6. I think that I love the feeling of the Twilight Zone kind of thing. I just don't think it was executed very well. I think the framework for this episode was a great idea. What are you afraid of? What terrifies you? What scares the crap out of you? Oh my God, waking back up and being in high school. Yeah, yeah. Waking up on a plane and there being no pilots on board. Okay, I get it. Waking up in the morgue and have a body open its eyes and look at me. It's all, I guarantee you they sat down at a table and just asked people what they were afraid of. And this is the stuff that, going across a lake, being on like in a canoe, going across a lake and getting, grabbed by a tentacle monster, and okay, that person was, that's some Japanimation right there. Mm. All right. So, tentacle monsters for the win. Yay.
Yeah.
Hentai with tentacles.
At least that tentacle monster, have good taste.
Yeah, one for the cute blonde.
The issues, the godlike entity at the end acting like, oh my God, California roll, y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
was a problem.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so like my own ass and arrogant because I'm from Cali.
It was though. That's what the whole time she's talking. I'm like,
yeah.
God, she was not. I mean, lovely actress, but I don't like the way she was written.
Yeah,
right
I mean, everything about her was great till she started talking.
Well,
I'm like,
boy, yeah,
wow.
Yep. And right now, someone just closed my channel on a computer and was like, misogyny. Because
yeah.
So
yeah, Trelane, Leia's right, and there was a Squire of Gothos element to it. To be honest with you, every episodes like this of any type of show that try to be, they start out, you can see that they're going to be based upon illusion and the crew being put through different types of situations they're not used to in a standard story. Always kind of they're always tough to sell for me. They're always a tough sell for me because I'm always like, okay, I get it right now. They're in high school. That means this is some kind of crazy alien screwing with an episode that we're not going to find out much to the end. That's always a little bit frustrating to me. And this is not much different. I mean, while it's entertaining, I'm like, like I said earlier, there better be a big payoff here that really works. Because I know we're in high school, we're on an airplane, we're on a river, we're on a lake, we're on that stairway that was kind of looked cool that they were walking. All right, I better get something out of this. And again, it's when you do all those things, it is very difficult to knock it out of the park at the end, to wrap it up properly, in my opinion. The shock stuff, See,
when Stargate would do something like this, they would kind of make fun of their own show inside the show, and stuff to kind of, I don't know, to give you that reality base to it, or to ground everything. I don't know if you guys remember episodes like that where they'd almost kind of make fun of themselves while still making the point. They never took themselves too seriously, and I felt like they could have done something like that, like when they were walking down the stairs and they're like, and Gordon's like, what's below this? And they're like, oh, it's there's nothing. He's like, oh great, bottomless pit. Like they could have really played that up to be just like, oh, like they're at that point in the episode, they're getting tired of being fooled. And they're just like, oh, well, we're going to die then. It's like, I don't know. I was kind of waiting for the Ed Mercer. I was kind of waiting for Seth MacFarlane to kind of do what he did in A Million Ways to Die in the West, where he's just kind of tired of like everything that's horrible going on. And he kind of does that, but in a serious way, when he stops like giving credence to the, we're going anywhere but into that door because they're just messing with us. And I wish they'd kind of gone deeper into that aspect of it too. They could have really just played up the fact that once human beings get tired of being played with, and we're just like, okay, we're done. I'm gonna sit right here until you stop, and anyway, sorry.
There you go.
No, and PJ mentions Malozzi. I know at one point PJ was like, wave off, don't do it, Loki. Because I asked Malozzi, I was like, okay, so back in like 200, you make the 200th episode of Stargate, and you make this episode where you're making fun, or this piece in the episode where you're making fun of using a younger, hipper cast, right? And you got Teal'c like, yo, dog, I was about to tap that, and all this stuff in this clip, and everyone's like, no, we're not doing that, no, right? But then you go and do that with SGU. It's like you got people banging in you got these teenagers banging in closets, and they made fun of the pregnant thing, like, Daniel, I'm pregnant. And Daniel's like, oh my God, no, with Bala, right? And then they have that in SGU where she goes to the younger guy and she's like, I'm pregnant. And and I'm like, why did y'all make fun of all this? And then you went and did it. And it usually was like studio influence and yada, yada. But I could see PJ like, wave off. No, Loki, don't do it. Don't ask the question.
No, I don't know. There were so many possibilities with this, and it felt like that he just never met the mark. It just, I don't know. But yeah, PJ, where's that comment? PJ just, Joe I can't say his name.
Malozzi.
Yeah, I mean, just Stargate was just it's so good. And I'm like, but and I'm just when I see an episode like this and I see what it could have been, and they didn't quite pull it off, I'm like, oh guys, come on. Like you were going for something great and you just fumbled in the execution, and it's sad, but you know what? I still love it, and I'll be back next week waiting for the next episode.
What if you want to improve this episode? How still good it is, just watch Obi Garbage, Kenobi, and Strangle New Worms, and it'll make the episode go up like 5 stars.
Well, I'm not going to poison my. I say I won't watch
No.
any of that. So I'm like,
I know.
nope.
I sat through.
I tried strange new bedfellows is what I was calling it, because you're gonna get the Sam Kirk and Spock love bromance that you never had with. You're gonna have,
Yes, probably so. It's not written up anyway.
And so I tried. I 3 episodes in, and I was like, and that's when I made it with the original Discovery. I made it in 3 episodes, and I was like, no, I'm done. I did not watch Kenobi though. So I will say I'm not putting myself through that. That's a wound that I'm not going to reopen anymore. Yep. I'm not. I don't care if they're like, oh my God, the last episode with Vader, he was like strangling people in the street and cutting them down with a purse and blah blah. I don't give a fuck.
Yep. No more lemon juice. I'm keeping this. I'm keeping my cut away from these people.
But guys, we're like 5 minutes over the hour mark. We're getting out of here. I want to thank everybody for being here. Thank you everybody listening to us ramble about this episode, because it was a lot of rambling, but there is no deep dive analysis when it's just like I said, 6, and I gave it a 6 because it made me feel like Twilight Zone. I thought it was going down Twilight Zone, Outer Limits type direction. And it kind of did, but then again, it went in a Q direction. And oh my God, Valley Girl, we're like totally immortal now. Like we don't ever have to like totally like go get our nails done. We can just do them ourselves. Oh, look at my Tron suit. Funsies.
We can remake the universe.
I'd say to PJ though, I do think it is rewatchable, because definitely you could pick up a lot of things. And again, I like these people so much, I can watch it and not really necessarily be all that bored, because in fact, watching it again, I might pick up more. So I think rewatchability for the show's still there for sure. It's, again, I guess because I still love the show so much, I still love these people so much. So yeah,
it's not disposable entertainment. Star Trek and Star Wars is very much disposable entertainment. You watch it, you throw it in the trash bin, you're done.
I used to watch them. I did watch The Mandalorian and thought, like a lot of people, that it was an okay show. I never went back and watched an episode after watching one. I was like, that was all right. Boo. And I never cared to. I mean, other maybe like the Luke scene, I watched that again a couple, but as far as the show, and again, I didn't dislike it. I don't know if you liked it or not, but I thought it was okay. I would watch one and be like, yeah, that was all right. Then forget about it 5 minutes later. Mm-hmm. But this look, we're having this conversation right now. This sticks with you what they're doing. Even if they do one you might have criticisms of, it's still the Orville, and it is definitely worth going back and watching and, seeing what, getting another view. And I plan to rewatch it, of course, a couple times.
Amen. All right, well, guys, we're out of here. Do you guys have anything coming up you wanna throw out there, promote before we get out of here?
Figure?
Not for me.
Tomorrow night, Saturday Night Star Trek, it will be an unusual one because Raquel will be on a away mission. But it'll always be Saturday Night Star Trek no matter what. So we'll just be like an open Saturday Night Star Trek. We'll talk a little bit about the 40th anniversary of Wrath of Khan and a bunch of other Trekness that we'll throw in there. We have no idea what. And so there's that. Then of course, that's all I got going on other than Sunday Night Geekery. Oh, by the way, we'll say a big shout out, a happy birthday to the great Mark D with a C. My good buddy, my chief engineer, and a great pal that I've made over here on YouTube over the past couple of years. And so today is his birthday. He's gotten old. He's not as old as me, but he's old. And he does Sunday Night Geekery at 10 p.m. Eastern times on Sunday nights and stuff. So yeah, there's that. And then there we go.
All right, guys, we're out of here. See you all tonight on the Late Show with Mexican Iron Man. Until then, be great, be excellent to each other. Always speak friend to enter. And if you're not still subscribed, make sure you are, because YouTube is still effing around with everything. I swear to God, it's like casting John Wayne for Genghis Khan. They just don't know what the fuck they're doing. Take care, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Good day, everybody.
These videos are tremendous. Like, comment, and subscribe, and hammer that notification bell.